Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to another video. Today is still night one of my Maryland trip here. Just got some food after playing the first session, and of course, there's a Cheesecake Factory. We have to get it. Why? The people that watch the personal channel know, because they're kind of just a print for money. If you invest in their stock during peak COVID times when all the retail shut down, I don't know. Made a stock video, Cheesecake Factory, one of my most profitable stocks that I put a little bit of money into. So giving back with always being a loyal customer. But yeah, that's all I got. We're gonna play some 2-5 or 5-10. I don't know. It's super busy down there. It's gonna be the second session of today. Gonna hop in there for a few hours, try to get some hands, get some footage for you guys. So hopefully you enjoy it. There's a ton of people downstairs, and let's just get to the video. To the uncapped 5-10 we go. We buy in for $4,000 and we sit on the table, and it looks like our $4,000 stack is, if not average, or on the lower end of stacks at this table, so this game's about to get big. One of the very first hands we get dealt right off the bat, pocket kings in the small blind, and we're playing 7-handed. There's an under the gun open to $30, and there's a hijack 3-bet $290. Player to my right on the button cold calls this $90 3-bet, and here, dream spot to 4-bet. Right off the rip, we might be playing a big one. We put in that 4-bet to $370, given we're out of position against multiple players. The under the gun player who opened makes the fold. Now back onto the hijack, and he thinks for a little bit, and puts in not a fold. He doesn't put in a call. Damn right. He puts in that juicy 5-bet to $1,150. Button obviously gets out of the way, and back on to me. This player covers me. And like I said, we started with $4,000 in our stack, and oh boy, welcome to the table, facing a 5-bet with pocket kings. We have two options because folding's obviously not one of them. We can maybe min raise this and put in a 6-bet, which seems extremely strong. I think if we were to 6-bet, we get like ace king and pocket queens or jacks to fold, or we can just flat and play this deceptively. I don't think kings needs too much protection here. I think this is a cooler spot, and I think we're just going to get it all in regardless. So what's the best way to do so? I decided on a flat call because even though we're out of position, like I said, kings doesn't need too much protections, and we're pretty much just praying to not see an ace on the flop here. So we make the call, and let's go to a flop in a 5-bet pot. The flop comes 8, 9, deuce, 2 hearts. Pretty clean, pretty good enough for a 5-bet pot with kings. Let's try to get it all in. I check to him, and he throws out a bet of $750. Given our stack, obviously, we've got about $2,850 in front of us, and we're just going to check jam this. No real other way to play it. We rip it all in for $2,850-ish, and now he goes deep into the tank. Thinks about it for a while, and now when he doesn't snap call us, it's obvious he doesn't have aces. I'm pretty much just targeting hands like queens, jacks, and that's pretty much it. So because he didn't snap, I think we're good here. Does he ever have kings himself when we're just chopping? Who really knows? But after tanking for a while, he makes the call. We're going to an $8,000 pot all in. Let's go to a run out and try to hold. The run out comes relatively clean for a 5-bet pot. All the draws did get there, but we shouldn't be too concerned about that. We show our pocket kings, and he lets his cards go. We ship $8,000 in our direction. Welcome to the table. What a ridiculous hand to start off the session. This player also doesn't show, but I think he probably just had queens. That's like the only hand that really makes the most sense there. I think jack sometimes won't really be 5-betting too much, so might have ran ourselves into a cooler kings versus queens, but who knows. Second hand in, damn right, we pick up pocket kings once again in early position. We're running hot right now. There's an under the gun open to 30, even better against an under the gun open. I obviously 3-bet this one to $100, and back onto this under the gun player, he makes the call. Once again, another re-raised pot. The flop comes jack 8-4, 2 hearts, and when he checks to us, pretty much a good board texture for us to c-bet on. We're going to be good here a lot of the time, so I size to $75. This player decides to put in a check raise. He check raises to 300, and I'm obviously never folding here, but I'm pretty wet in dynamic board texture. There's a lot of draws to be found here that you could be holding, so easy defend. We make the call, but we're playing another big one. We call, the turn comes the 7 of clubs, so board is a little bit more connected. Now he throws out another bet of $600 here, and I think we're obviously going to be defending and making a call with kings, but we do have to make note that 10-9 did get there with the nut straight so far, but I've got to assume that the undergun range wouldn't be opening too many 10-9 suited, but we're certainly behind hands like pocket jacks for top set, and we're ahead of a lot of heart draw combinations. Anyways, the river comes the 6 of spades. We don't love this. There is a 4-liner out there, but how often is this under the gun opener going to have too many 5Xs in range? Not entirely sure, but he thinks about it for a long time. So when he tanks and looks over his options, it seems like he doesn't have too many 5Xs and we just might be good. Who knows, but he ends up checking to us, and that's beautiful news because now, given this board texture, I don't think we can get too much value unless we're just pretty much targeting ace-jack or pocket queens. So with that said, value seems really slim, this pot's pretty big, and he likely missed his draw. I decided to check this one back, and he shows us king-9 of hearts, so missed heart draw. We take this pot down and win another big one with kings. Alright, this time we don't get a premium, but we get a playable one in queen 10 of clubs on the small blind. There's a hijack open to $35. Action folds to me. Certainly going to play this one. Don't need to 3-bet. I just make the call, and we're going heads up to a flop. The flop, you're not going to believe this. Ace, king, jack, rainbow, flopping the absolute nuts right now. What the hell is happening in this 5-10 game here? So I check, and he throws out a small bet of $15. This is way too small of a bet given an $80 pot, but with no immediate draws right now, I'm going to slow play this and make the call. Obviously, our hand is very under-repped for what we got. We call, and we go to a turn, which comes the 8 of diamonds. Total rainbow now, doesn't bring out any additional draws, and I check once again. He once again throws out a really small bet of $30, and now we can't just be flat calling right now. We definitely want to build a pot, especially given we're out of position. So we are raising this 100% of the time. We decide to put in a check raise to $125, and without too much thinking, he looks like he has a pretty easy decision. He makes the call fairly quickly. The river now comes the 6 of spades. Well, still with the nuts, and there's really nothing that really changed from the flop here. Not really sure what to do, and here, given my check raise, I want to pull out and just polarize myself and try to go for max value. So I put in this really large overbet to $475 with the nuts. Maybe we can get called by some 2-pair combos, maybe a set, but it seems like that's really the only thing we can get value from for 3 streets anyways. So hoping he can make the call, but I shouldn't have too many bluffs in this range and given this line that I've taken, but who knows? He thinks about it for a while, tosses in a few chips for a call. We show our nuts, and we are running ridiculously hot right now in one of the largest games I've ever played so far.
I don't know what the hell's going on. It's ridiculous.
So in the theme of playing 5-10 and running super hot, winning every single hand, we're trying to chase that bag, and I really thought it would be a good time to introduce this piece called the 100 Benjamins, and it's for people who want to chase that bag. Personally for me, we're in my bedroom, I wake up every single morning and I go and take a look at what's on this wall. It's a $100 bill, but I figured I want something of my own, and I'm going to put this and slap that on the wall. So I just wake up and we're chasing that bag. But yeah, this is super new, and I'm really excited about it. Put some effort into this one, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you want to go grab one, passionprints.us. It's a personal project of mine, printing out canvases at a much more affordable cost than other people. So yeah, if you like anything you see, use discount code RAMPAGE for 10% off. Also, I do want to give a huge shout out to everybody who did like and purchase this piece called the Jackpot. The black and gold, all aces, the roulette wheel in the back, the die, everything. People really liked it. It was one of the hot sellers. So this is also available on the website, passionprints.us. Use discount code RAMPAGE for 10% off. And thanks for allowing me to have the opportunity to have this creative outlet and come up with art pieces like this and this. So hopefully you guys like it, man. I personally love this one. So if you want to check it out, you know where to find it. Let's get back to crushing that 5-10 game. When we're running hot, we run into more run good here with ace-king offsuit once again on the small blind. There's an under the gun open to $30. When action folds to me, we're in the small blind, which actually gives us the option to flat call this sometimes and slow play ace king. Mix it up a little bit. So with that said, I do make a really low frequency play and just flat call. Mix in some flats, especially against the under the gun opening range. We're out of position. We're in the worst position. We make the call, and the big blind calls as well. So 3 ways to a flop out of position. The flop comes ace, jack, 7, 2 hearts, and a diamond. And here, loving this flop as we did hit our ace. Unfortunately, though, action checks all the way around. The turn now comes the 6 of diamonds. Now, with 2 flush draws out there and sitting with top, certainly going to put in a bet for value, and I size to $65. Interestingly enough, the big blind makes the call, and so does the under the gun player. Not really sure what this under the gun player could have, given he did check back flop, but we're still going to go 3 ways to a river. The river is the ace of hearts, so the front door flush does get there, but now we've obviously improved to trips and the best kicker. I'm not really sure what the appropriate size to bet here is. And not entirely sure, given we are multi-way, how often is someone going to have heart flush draw? Not entirely sure. How often are we going to get value from a jack X holding? Who knows? How often is someone else going to be holding the case ace? We're not really sure, but we throw out a bet of $125 to see what happens. We get the big blind to make the call. The under the gun player folds, and when this big blind player just flats and doesn't raise us, we've got to assume we're good, so I show my hand. We take down another pot, winning 4 relatively large big ones in a row. Guys, when I tell you the run good doesn't stop, we pick up pocket threes once again in the small blind. Don't love playing in the small blind too often, but when the +1 player opens a 35, action folds to me. I'm definitely just going to set mine here and see a flop, so I call, and the big blind comes along as well. The flop comes queen, jack 10, all hearts. With city for us, unfortunately, we can't run super hot every single time, but when the big blind checks and the +1 player checks, we get to see a free turn. The turn is the unbelievable 3. What the hell is happening today? This is not okay. We are not supposed to be running this hot, but I'll certainly take it. And unfortunately, it seems like no one has anything though when action checks around, but on such a wet and dynamic flop, we've got to bet large here to charge out draws. So I bet $100, and both players fold really quickly, so I guess not a lot going on here, but when we turn a 3 and we turn a set, things are looking pretty good. In the following spot, we pick up ace queen offsuit under the gun, and we're certainly going to open this one, so I size to $40. The player on my left makes the call, we get the small blind to call, and so does the big blind. So 4 ways to a flop, which comes ace 10 7 rainbow. Once again, another great flop for us. When the blinds check to me, obviously easy c-bet spot, so I size to $60. We only get 1 player to make the call in the big blind, so at least we're in position this time, heads up to a turn. The turn is the 7 of spades. He checks to me, and here I've got to think that I'm just way ahead in this situation. My kicker plays, and certainly can fire out another barrel, but we want to mix in some stronger hands in our checking range a little bit and play this a little bit more deceptively, so I decide to check back, assuming we're way ahead. The river now comes the 9 of spades. The board is a lot more connected, but I don't think jack 8 is going to make much sense here in this board, so whatever, I think we got a pretty good hand, but this big blind player leads out and bets $150. Pretty sizable amount, but I'm just never really folding here with a good 2 pair holding, and our kicker does play. So I make the call. He shows us ace 9 offsuit. Really unfortunate river there. I let them get there, and I was right at least saying I was way ahead. Just when that slim percentage hits and he hits his higher 2 pair, he's going to take it down. Nice hand. This next hand's a fun one to play with jack 10 of clubs on the cutoff. There's an early position open to $30 and onto me. Definitely time to mix in a light 3-bet after the other players have only seen me raise pre-flop with pocket kings and such. So here I'm going to size up and 3-bet to $100 given my fairly tight 3-betting range. Action folds back to this early position player, and he decides on a call. Heads up, the flop comes queen, 9, 7, 2 hearts, and a club. Open-ended is a good flop for us, along with the backdoor club draw. He checks to me, and certainly going to c-bets. I size to $80, a little bit more than 1/3 pot, and he doesn't take too long before just clicking that fold button, so far, smooth sailings here at the 5-10 game. This hand, we're on the button with 10-8 of hearts, and action folds around to me. Certainly going to be opening this one up, so I size to $35. Small blind folds, big blind defends, and we're going to a flop. The flop is king, queen, 5, 2 hearts, and a diamond. I put in that c-bet to $25 when he checks to us with our heart draw. Now he puts in a check raise. Check raises to $80, and it's a pretty small one, given he is out of position, but here it's an easy defend and make the call. I'm not too experienced with button versus big blind ranges, but we're going to hope to hit a heart and get paid. We make the call, and the turn comes the 3 of diamonds. First time we've bricked a draw for now at least, but unfortunately he puts in a continuation bet on this turn to $225. Honestly, facing this sizing is really unfortunate for us because calling here is just burning money. So with our 10 high flush draw, I'm unfortunately going to be folding. I think we're either forced to fold or raise given his large sizing. And yeah, we're going to fold this one and move on as the 10 high flush isn't amazing and we don't have any other straight draw to go along with it. In this next spot, we've got ace jack off under the gun, and I open things up to $35 since we're playing 6-handed. Only the player to my left makes the call. He's been extremely active on this table so far and probably has the widest range. The flop comes 6-6, deuce, 2 hearts, and a club. And here, neutral board texture. Don't need to bet too big with ace high to defend it. I just c-bet to $25. He thinks and makes the call for 25. The turn now comes the 10 of clubs. There are 2 flush draws out there now, and I decided to just slow down and check. Don't think we can get too much value with ace high too much, so when I check, he throws out a bet of $50, and looking at my cards right now, I unblock both flush draws. I think it's a decent opportunity to defend with ace high. Certainly can be semi-bluffing with a flush draw that we're ahead of right now, so with ace high, we make the call. The river is the 4 of clubs, so backdoor flush draw gets there, and when I check, he checks it back, and showing my ace high, not expecting to win too often, and this is not one of those cases. He shows king 10 off suits for king high on the flop, then turned top pair, and that's good enough to take down this pot. This next hand, things get a little short as we're playing 4-handed for a little bit, and we pick up queen 10 of diamonds in the small blind. Action folds to me, playing blind versus blind. I open up the action to $30, and now this big blind player puts in that 3-bet to 100. This player seems fairly aggressive and someone who I see as a much better player than I at these stakes for sure. I'm out of position, not feeling too comfortable against this kind of player, but I make the call. The flop comes jack 10, 3, 2 hearts, and with middle pair and a decent kicker, I think it's an okay board for us for sure. I check, and he throws out a c-bet of $60. Think I've got to defend this all the time here, considering we do have a pair. Can't let this go yet. We do block some of the straight draws he could hold, but we also could be ahead of hands like 10-9 or 10-8. I call, and the turn comes the 5 of hearts. Front door flush gets there, and now I check again. He now throws out a bigger bet of $200 this time. It seems like a very polarizing bet here, and here, given the situation, second pair is really not ideal, but I think I do have to call. We certainly are ahead of all his 1 heart holdings, certainly can do this with top pair, I guess, but I'm more inclined to believe that this larger sizing is trying to get me off of this hand. Anyways, I make the call here, and we see a river. The river is another 5, so essentially another brick. As played, I'm certainly going to check this and try to get the showdown. So when he checks it back, I show my pair of 10s. He shows jack 9 of clubs, so seems like our lack of experience short-handed is getting to the better of us. The last interesting hand that we play in this session, once again short-handed, playing 4-handed here, ace-jack offsuit still in the small blind. When both players fold again to me, still blind versus blind against the same player, I open up the action to $30, and who would have thought, once again, he puts in that 3-bet to 100. Seems like he's been doing this relentlessly 4-handed, and I don't know. I definitely think that 4-betting here with this specific holding is a pretty good play given the dynamics, but I don't love this hand. It's not as playable compared to like suited broadways of some sorts. Anyways, still gotta have to go with it because I think it's the right play. I size up and put in a 4-bet to $275. A little bit smaller, given that we are short-handed, but after thinking things over, he does make the call for 175 more. Out of position, going to a flop. The flop comes ace, 8, 3, 2 hearts. I'm always really concerned about what a bricked flop would be like, but I'm glad this time we don't have to play one. With top pair, we've got to assume our hand must be good here. I put in a small c-bet to $180, but without too much thinking, he folds, and that's going to wrap up our night. don't even know what to say. What a ridiculous start to that 5-10 session. Definitely the biggest pot that we've ever played in my life, showcased on the vlog, so that was really cool. But night 1 of 3 wraps up here at Maryland Live, and what a hot start. 2 sessions today, and both of them went pretty flawlessly. So that's all I got. I don't know. This video is an absolute banger, so if you made it to the end, please drop a like. We put a lot of effort into these videos, so thank you so much for watching and sticking to the end. But end of the day, we played for a few hours. Second session of the day, I just didn't want to play super long. It is like 2:30 right now, so we're in for 4,000, out for 88.55 in a few hours work. Thank God. Usually we're like, the last time I was in, like when I played 10-20, I was like in the bag for like 9K and cashed out like 65, and it looked like I made a lot. But yeah, this time was really good. It's nice to have one of those really big shot taking sessions go my way. So thank you so much for watching this video. A lot more fun and videos coming up. And yeah, so far, first impressions of Maryland Live. I gotta say, I like it here. I really love it. The poker scene seems amazing and the games are good. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.